guys, my name is Carleo, and this is the second installment of my Guitar Player Backpack. And today, we're going to be speaking about the blues scale. Now the blues scale is just a pentatonic scale with one added note, and this note is called the flattened fifth. Now the flat 5 got its nickname called the blue note, and this is why it's called the blues scale. So for all you blues players out there, this is a perfect scale for you. So let's get started. I'm going to approach the blues scale just how I did with the pentatonic scale in my last installment. However, with the added fifth, there may be 3 notes on any string. Now we have to make sure that we keep our alternate picking pattern. This will make sure that we stay consistent when we practice. So we're going to learn the blues scale just how we did before in A minor. The first shape of the blues scale is going to start on the 5th position, and we're going to apply the same finger guidelines as I did with the pentatonic scales. So that means to make sure your first finger is on the 5th fret, your second finger is on the 6th fret, your third finger is on the 7th fret, and your fourth finger is on the 8th fret. So let's do it. So down on 1, up on 4, next string, down on 1, up on 2 with your blues note, down on 3, next string, up on 1, down on 3, next string, up on 1, down on 3, up on 4, that's your blues note, next string, down on 1, up on 4, next string, down on 1, up on 4. And then we turn it right back around without repeating the top note, down on 1, up on 4, down on 1, and then so forth. So in its entirety, it looks like this. And that's the first shape. Just like the pentatonic scales, the blues scales that precede the one previous will start on the second note of that previous scale. So we're going to start the second shape of the blues scale on the 8th fret with our second finger. Now this scale is going to have some sliding, so let's pay attention. So we start on the 8th fret with our second finger, down on 2, up on 4. Then we're going to slide with our fourth finger to the 11th fret on the same string, down. Then we're going to slide back down to the next string with our first finger on the 7th fret, up, and then down on 4, and then the next string is up on 1, then down on 4, then up on 1 on the next string, then down on 2, which is our blues note again, then up on 3, then the next string is down on 1, then up on 4, then down on 1 on the next string, up on 4, and then also, because this is the E string again, we're going to slide up to the 11th fret with our fourth finger, which is a down. And then we go right back down to 10 with our fourth finger, then down on 2, the next string will be up on 4, and then so forth. So in its entirety, it looks like this. Just like that, and that's the second shape. The third shape of the blues scale is going to start on the 10th fret, and this is because this was the second note on the previous scale. So our second finger is going to start this scale, and again, we're going to be doing some sliding, so let's pay attention. It's going to be down on 2, up on 3, and that's our blues note, down on 4, next string, up on 2, down on 4, next string, up on 2, down on 4, and then we're going to slide up 1 fret with our fourth finger, which is going to be an up. Then we have to shift back down to grab the 9th fret with our first finger, down on 1, up on 4. And just like the pentatonic scale, we shift up 1 fret going from the G string to the B string. Then we hit down with our first finger, up with our fourth finger, next string is down with our first finger, up with our second finger, and that's another blues note, down with our third finger, back up with our second finger, down with our first finger, and then so forth. And this is it in its entirety. that's the third shape. The fourth shape of the blues scale is going to start on the 12th fret. And this time we're going to start this scale with our first finger. Again, there's some sliding, so let's pay attention. So there's down on 1, up on 4, down on 1, up on 4, down on 1 on the next string, up on 2, which is our blues note, down on 3, next string, up on 1, down on 3, next string is up on 2, down on 4, slide with your fourth finger to the 16th fret, that's an up, and then we need to slide back down to grab our first finger on the 12th fret with a down pick, and then an up pick on 4, back down to 1, and then reach up to the 16th fret with our fourth finger, up, slide down to the 15th with our fourth finger, down, and then up on 2, and so forth. And this is it in its entirety. And that's the fourth shape. The fifth shape of the blues scale is going to start on the 15th fret, and this is going to start. The fifth shape of the blues scale is going to start on the 15th fret with your second finger. This one also has some sliding, so let's pay attention. So we have down on 2, up on 4, next string, down on 2, up on 4, slide with your fourth finger up to the 18th fret, which is a down. Then we have to grab our first finger on the 14th fret on the next string, up on 1, down on 4, next string up on 1, then down on 4, next string up on 2, down on 3, which is the blues note, up on 4, next string down on 2, and then up on 4. Backwards, down on 2, next string up on 4, down on 3, up on 2, and then so forth. And this is it in its entirety. And that's the fifth shape. So the blues scale is essentially a pentatonic scale with one added note. And this flat 5 creates a nice bluesy sound to it. Now you can take this blues scale and use it over a bunch of genres, like gospel, rock, even pop music. Now I teach these blues scales with these fingerings because I base it off of the pentatonic scales the way I teach them. Now you can use other fingerings, but when I teach it to my students, I like to keep a consistent basis. So it's easier to understand when you go from the pentatonic scales right to the blues scales. So if you want to learn about me more, you can check me out at my website, michaelcarleo.com, for more information. Thanks for checking out this installment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.